wonderful friends, and welcome to another episode of Your Business Story. I cannot wait for you to meet today's guest. We have the amazing, consistent, passionate grandmapreneur, Connie Inukai. And she, is it Inukai or Inukai?
Inukai.
Inukai. Okay, I said it right. All right. So, Connie, thank you so much for being here with us today. How are you?
I'm great. And thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be on your show.
We are going to talk about so many exciting things today, including Connie's new book. So, this is the way the show works. I'm going to ask you some questions. You're going to tell us about your amazing skills and your business. And then at the end, toward the end, I'm going to give you your one sentence you need to explain to other people what your professional superpower is, aka your unique selling proposition. So, the first question, are you ready?
Yes.
All right. So, what is the most important problem that you solve for your client, and what kind of person is your client?
Okay, that's a great question. So my client, if you could say that, is somebody who's retired, like over the age of 60, and doesn't know what to do, and they're kind of bored or frustrated in their life, and they want to know what to do to keep them excited in their life and to not be bored every day. So I try to encourage them to get involved in entrepreneurship.
Yes.
And most people think that it's kind of too late. They're too old, like, they're 60, 70, 80 years old, but it's never too late.
So, can you explain a little bit what you mean by entrepreneurship? I know that most people already know what this word means, but for you, I feel like it's specific because you're starting not just a new career, but you're in a different season of life altogether.
Exactly. Well, I was a teacher for 4 decades. Okay, a writing teacher. And so I had no idea about entrepreneurship, no idea, but I retired from teaching at age 68. And the reason I retired was because I got this idea of an invention.
Ooh.
And I couldn't really just continue working because my work was so overwhelming. I graded technical reports throughout the night. So I quit. I retired. I was ready to retire. And I focused myself on inventing a product. Okay. And I knew nothing about inventing, but that's actually an entrepreneur. You have to learn.
Right.
So an entrepreneur is somebody who starts something like a business or a new something to make some money and learns about how to do it. So I felt, since I had no experience in it, I was just going to do it and learn about being an entrepreneur.
That's amazing. Okay, I hope everyone is mentally clapping for Connie right now because her story.
Do you want to
is
see
so
my
inspiring.
invention?
Yes. Oh, yeah. You have it. Show it to us.
Yeah, this is my invention because as I got older, my eyes kept getting worse and worse and worse. It happens, when you turn like 50, I think, and maybe earlier. So I had a real problem when I went to a restaurant and I couldn't read the small print on the menu or the bill, and the restaurants were too dark. So I invented this little device. It's not an app. It's called Tip and Split, and it's got a magnifier on it, and it's got a light in the back that's discreet, and you can also figure out a tip and split the bill in 3 seconds. So I call it Tip and Split. And I had no idea what to do, but I had to learn all about manufacturing and promoting and, and inventing it. So that was my first experience as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, because that's something you're holding in your hands.
Yeah. And it's very lightweight. It's 1.8 ounces.
That's amazing.
And so this is good for people my age because we can actually, they have actually apps to do that. But most people like your parents or your grandparents would not want to use an app, especially in a restaurant. because it can
Right.
be distracting. So I made this for my people.
Well, that's great. I mean, I'm in marketing. I don't hide that. That's what this whole show is about, is business stories. And it's so amazing when you have such a specific target audience and you fit such a specific need,
Right.
because then the marketing is really simple to do. So, have you explored that at all? I know you're a writer, so how do you let people know about your tip and split?
Well, probably if you have a big audience, they're all going to know about it now. Um, I'm selling it on Amazon, and
Okay.
I tell people whenever I see them. But I actually, that was my first stage as an entrepreneur. Then I started my second stage.
Oh, tell us about that.
Okay, so my second stage during COVID, I didn't really want to promote my tip and split because the restaurants
People
were
were
all
going out.
closed.
Right.
And also, I didn't want to encourage older people to go out to a restaurant. Besides, they were all closed. So I came up with another idea. Since I didn't go out because of my age, I stayed indoors almost all the time. So I created a book of my life because I have 6 grandchildren and I want them to know about me after I'm gone.
Right.
So this is actually my book, and I call it "Write Your Selfie." Can you see
I
that?
I have seen you talk about that before.
So
That's
this
really
is
fun.
this is a book, and it's based on pictures and ancestry, and I absolutely love it because my grandkids love learning about me. Now maybe
Oh.
they're not typical grandkids because they're really interested in this. So I wrote it, and I also did a little bit of ancestry. So because everybody I know says, "Oh my God, my grandma just died, and I wish I had asked her questions before she died." So this is their chance. So I also have a section about ancestry, and in that section, I have a section I call it namesakes. And I say, according to Ashkenazi tradition, that's Judaism, it's
Mhm.
a kind gesture to name a newborn after the deceased. This keeps them alive, okay? And so I went through how I have 4 brothers and 1 sister, and I talked about how each one was named, who they were named after,
I
because
love
I think
that.
that's important. And then I put down, my name is Connie. It's not a Jewish name. And here's how I got that name. My mother named my older sister Sharon and told my dad that he could choose my name. He chose Francis. When my mom asked my dad where he got that name, he said it was his old girlfriend.
Oh no.
Mom was furious and looked at the nurse's badge. Her name was Connie, and that's how I got my name. So I'm mixing up a little bit of humor into
Yeah.
my life story, and it's based on pictures, and I love doing it. And right now, I'm working with uh, a few centers in Maryland where I live that have assisted living residents, and I'm going to work with them and their adult children to write their life story
That's
because I want to
amazing.
write.
So
Yeah,
you
so that's what an entrepreneur is. It's a little bit hard in the marketing aspect of it, but I'm trying my best.
right. And that sounds like something that you could also automate at some point, where you have the questions and you can give it to the child, or
Well, it's
oh,
not really questions,
okay. How does
Kristen.
it work?
It's more like we go through their photo albums. And so I'm trying to work with people with dementia because even though they have no short-term memory, they have a good long-term memory. And if their child is going through their photo albums, when they see something that lights up their parent, we include that picture in the book. And then I
Oh,
help them write a caption
that's
about the
amazing.
pictures. Yeah, so that's my new entrepreneurship.
I
Yeah,
really love that. We
this
have
is
some viewers right now who are saying they really love your story and
Oh,
they're enjoying hearing you talk all about this just to encourage you that you are doing amazing.
this is one of my favorite pictures, and I got it from one of my cousins. And it says Grandma Ella and Grandpa Arthur immigrated to the United States from Poland. They moved, oops, they moved to the United States in 1912, and they missed the ship because Grandma Ella was pregnant and had morning sickness. And the ship they missed was the Titanic. So
No.
after I'm gone, nobody is going to know about those stories. Nobody.
Right.
So I have so many stories in my book. This is another story. This is about a boat that we had when we were growing up in Cleveland on Lake Erie. And we named the boat Dr. Skakel. And that's named after my parents and all of us, five kids. David, Rebecca, that's Doctor, and Skakel, Sharon, Connie, Arthur, Chucky, Louie. And when they had one more child, we all took a vote and decided to call him Eddie so we could keep the name of our boat. So all of these stories would be lost if
Right.
if this is my oldest son. He's actually 44 now. And so I have like a few pages for each of my children in my book. And after I'm gone, I want people to remember who I am and about their ancestors.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I love what I'm doing. So that's called entrepreneurship. I think I'm answering your question.
You
Is
are.
to take
Yeah.
something that you don't really know so much about and learn it.
And learn it and turn it into something that helps, that serves other people, right?
Right. This is not really about money. This is more about passion because I really want to help. Everybody wants to write their story, I think, when they get older, especially, but
Right.
they don't know where to start. So I know how to get started and finished.
That's
So I help them
amazing.
write their life story in about 6 weeks.
Oh, that's a pretty concise timeline. Way to go,
Yeah.
Connie.
That's what I'm doing now. So I'm like a two-time entrepreneur. And I decided to write my book to inspire other people to find something that they're good at. And because I was a writer, a writing teacher, writing this book, it just fits right in.
Right. You can teach people how to write. Yes, that's something else that I've done that never really got me a consistent income. And that's why I shifted into writing for businesses. But it's still a passion I have. And you can still find all of my resources online. And a lot of them are free. Because if you want to learn to write, you should be able to.
Right. So I've looked over some of your stuff and you're fantastic.
Oh,
So
thank you,
thank you.
Connie.
And we share the love of writing together.
That's right, we do. Okay, so let's go to question number 2. You answered question number 1 so wonderfully and so thoroughly. So thank you for that. So what is the biggest pain, and let's talk about your clients as the people who are reading your book, right? The people who need help knowing how to become an entrepreneur once they've retired. So what is the biggest pain they're in, and what do they think they need to solve it? Because you and I both know as entrepreneurs, people think they need one way, one kind of help, but really that's not going to help their root problem.
Well, yeah, most of them have no idea where to get started, which is what I was like. I had
Mm-hmm.
no idea how to be an inventor, and I had no idea how to publish your book. The book about my life story.
Right.
So I had to learn. So in my book, I give them the steps about what to do to get started in a business, and I give them a lot of resources that they can go to learn how to get started. Some of them are like the Small Business Association. Also, when you're starting a business, you can get a free mentor from SCORE. Have you heard of
Right.
SCORE?
Yeah, free. I always tell people to do that. I haven't done it yet, but it's on my list.
Right. Well, I have a SCORE mentor, and actually, just today, I'm going to send him my book because he
Amazing.
helps me a lot.
I'm
And
sure he's going to be very proud of you when he sees your book.
I think so. Well, I showed it to him as I was writing it because he's in it. So I encourage people to get a mentor, and mentors are sometimes hard to find, but SCORE is very easy to find. SCORE, and it's all retired people, and they don't charge you a penny. So I give them all kinds of resources to find in order to start a business.
That's so fun and amazing, and I love it. I actually have been wanting to have someone on the show who's been in SCORE because I talk about it all the time, but I haven't gone through it myself. So thank you for sharing that. I know
Yeah,
that the listeners will really benefit from that
right,
story.
exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
So, what is your solution to their big problem and how do you get it for them? Right? You talked about in the book how you give them the steps or you recommend different ways to find a mentor. What else are you telling them that they don't realize on their own?
Well, let me think. Um, I don't know how to answer that. Can you
Okay,
word it
just
again?
look at your table of contents in your book.
Uh-huh.
What's after SCORE?
Oh, oh, yeah. Well, I talk about my journey and what I do, and I tell them one of the things that they're good at is actually after they've been through a career their whole life, they've gathered wisdom. We have
Mm,
so much wisdom that we've gathered. So I use my age as not something bad, but
right.
something great because we have, we've made mistakes our whole life, but we always know that there's something good coming from each mistake. So I try to encourage people to just not be afraid. And
Mm.
when you're older, um, fear is not really a question because we've already failed many times and now it's our time to succeed and just follow through. So all they really need is some inspiration
Mm.
to follow through.
I love that. Yeah, that's something that I'm always talking with. I'm 38. I'm going to be 39 really soon. And I'm always talking with people my own age. Like, we're just getting to the point where we're like, we need to stop being afraid because that's the number one thing that's holding us back.
Right.
So I love that you're saying this is an advantage you have because of how old you are. You don't have to overcome that giant wall of fear every day because you already blew it away years ago.
Right, right, right. Well, you're the same age as my youngest child,
Oh,
who's
nice.
38, soon to be 39. And so I try to inspire my children because they don't even look at me as like, grandma. Although I feel grandma,
Right.
I think that they're kind of amazed that I keep doing things. And I think that that's what I want to encourage people about, and actually when COVID hit, my tip and split was something I didn't want to promote. So I decided to do something else. Everybody my age was staying at home. So I said, why don't you gather your pictures and write a book about yourself? So
That's true.
that's what I want to encourage people. Like my one quote that I use is passion has no expiration date.
I love that.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that is so useful. I'm going to use that for myself because I'm learning
Okay.
new things all the time. Like right
Uh-huh.
now, I'm learning how to create a podcast.
Uh-huh. Well, that's great. And you're doing such a good job. I love your podcast. This is fun.
Oh, good.
So
I'm glad you're having fun. That's the best thing, right? When we're having fun, the listeners will have fun too.
yeah. So what's your next question for me?
All right. So if in marketing we have know, like, and trust, right? People don't know you, they get to know you, they start to like you, and then you have to help them understand why you are the one that they should trust. So, why should the person who's thinking about buying your book, who's thinking about having you be their guide on this journey trust you to solve this problem for them?
Well, I guess I could say I have no hidden agenda. I'm just giving it all away. They can buy my book. It's, I think, about $5 on Kindle, or I have this nice paperback edition, and I'm getting a hardcover that I'm going to give to my friends who have helped me.
Amazing.
And why should they trust me? Well, I'm not in it to rip anyone off, as many people that you can hire or something. I'm not. Nobody's going to hire me. I will give them
Well, people
advice.
could people could hire you. That could be your third step of
Okay.
entrepreneurship
Well, I
is
would love that, because everybody says I should become a coach about that. Um,
you should. Your coaching would be extremely unique and amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, why should they trust me? Well, I don't think I've given anybody any reason to not trust me.
Well, and you've done it yourself for two different businesses,
Right.
right? Like
Right.
you've lived it. You're not just giving them advice you haven't lived yourself.
Right. That's why I decided to write my book, because I'm an actual example of it. And I have so many friends my age who don't do it, and they're kind of bored
Yeah.
in their life. And uh, my former husband now thinks he wants to write his selfie. I call my book "Write Your Selfie," and
I love it.
I call it that because young people are always taking selfies, and older people don't. But since this is all pictures, it's their chance to write their selfie. So now I have so many friends who want to write their own. And how can they trust me? Well, because I would do it for free to help them. But honestly, I would just do it for free. But it takes me a long time to help them. So
Right.
how can they trust me? Because I'm an honest person.
Right. Well, and you have that experience. You are literally living out what you're advising them to do, so you know it works.
I know. Yeah. And every time I show people, I'm now going to some assisted living centers, because I don't want to ignore that population. I think that by writing their book, it keeps them young. By doing a business, it keeps you young.
It
Okay,
does because you're exercising your brain in a new way every day.
exactly. And learning every minute. Right now, I'm learning how to promote a book. So you have your own book, right?
I have many books, yes.
Uh-huh. So it's not easy. And it's
No.
especially not easy for somebody like me who, has tried to, overcome all my obstacles. Now I'm trying to see how to promote it.
Well, I will tell you that you're doing great already because step number 1 is get on a podcast. So you're doing that right now. And also just get on more podcasts. Honestly, that's the best way. You have to have visibility because if people don't know who you are, they won't know that they should buy your book. So, creating the book and putting it out there is not enough. And a lot of people will just do that. But you're already showing up here, and I see you on LinkedIn promoting. You're doing great. Just keep up with that visibility, being in places where you're borrowing someone else's audience so that they get to know you and they want to buy your book.
Well, thank you for letting me borrow your audience.
Yes, of course. So I actually wrote a little something for you, and I'm going to go ahead and put it on the screen. And it might have typos in it, but I know you'll understand because editing is a process. Okay, so this is your one sentence. I help people who are in the next stage of life find the next adventure, entrepreneurship. So I would delete in their life. See, it's live. That's what happens when you're live. Without having to guess what their next step is or having to worry about fear.
I love it.
And
Okay, I
that's
love it. I want you to be my marketing manager.
well, I am a marketer, and I'll tell you, I'm working on something. I'm rebuilding my whole business because I realized the two problems that business owners have when they're trying to level up is they don't have consistency, and as an English teacher, you know how important that is, and they don't have visibility. And that's what we're working on for you right now by you coming on here. So I've been actively changing my offers because those are really the two big problems. If you can solve those, then your business, you'll automatically get people who want to work with you.
Okay, you're wonderful, and I thank you, and thank you for promoting me. I see that. So,
Yeah, and everyone, go out and buy Connie's book right now. If you want to get in contact with her, I am going to paste all of her wonderful links in the chat. And okay, I do have one more question I need to ask you, Connie, because people keep asking me about this, and I was like, I'm going to ask her and let her tell you. How did you come up with Grandmapreneur, and what made you want to trademark it?
okay, well, that's a very good question. I came up with that idea because, first of all, I'm an inventor and I know about trademarking.
Yes.
Okay, because I trademarked Tip and Split and I trademarked Write Your Selfie. So, Grandmapreneur is a combination of grandma and entrepreneur. And so that's what I call myself, Grandmapreneur. And it is trademarked, although everybody loves that name. And now I see lots of people calling themselves Grandmapreneurs.
Oh no, are you going to enforce your trademark?
I don't think so.
No,
I
you don't
just
want
don't
to.
want to sue grandma.
Well, you don't have to sue. You can just send a cease and desist, and there you go. Just be like, put a
Maybe I
dash in
should.
it, friend. I trademarked it.
What?
You can just say, hey, just come up with your own little variation of it because this one I trademarked.
Right. You're right. I just couldn't see going after somebody who's like a grandma. But but I think it's a good. So that's how I got my name. And actually, grandma is first because in my life, grandma is first. And somehow I have the spirit to do both.
Right. Yeah. I love that. I hope that my mom told me that she was going to watch because she's so inspired by you. I hope she's watching right now because I know for her being a grandma is also a huge part of her life. But I've told her, I was like, Mom, you're a CRM expert. And so many people use CRMs. Why don't you start your own consulting business?
Oh,
And she's
exactly.
like,
Have her contact me.
yeah, I'm
Okay.
sure she would love to talk to you. So, what
Uh,
would you tell someone like my mom who they have such a valuable expertise and they're just nervous about showing up as an expert and calling themselves an expert? What would you say to them?
well, I would say that your mom probably doesn't have enough confidence in her abilities, but I'm sure you know
Yes,
that she's an expert at it. So
she
she
is.
has to just know that this is what she does, and so many people could use her services.
Right?
Um,
Like she would help them. That's the amazing thing.
well, I'm not exactly sure what the CRM means. So could you explain that?
So, let me look up exactly what it means. CRM. So, it's a customer relationship management tool.
Okay, well, that's so needed.
Yeah,
You
she's
know,
a
so I
software
might hire
whiz.
your mom. Maybe I'll be her first customer. Okay.
Yeah, because she is so good at it. She used to do it for a police department, and their systems are intense.
Uh-huh.
And she did that for a long time, longer than she wanted
So,
to, I
so I
think.
think the main problem that she faces is confidence, and
Yeah,
everybody's talking now about imposter syndrome, which
right?
everybody talks about that now. I'm sure your mom doesn't have imposter syndrome, but a lot of people think, why am I talking about this? I don't know about it, but she does know about it,
She
especially
does.
more than I do because I just asked you what is it, and
Right.
tell your mom that I'll hire her.
I will. I know. I'm like, Mom, I'm a messaging expert. I'll build everything for you. All you have to do is show up and do the calls. And
Uh-huh.
she's like, really? I was like, yeah, I'll write everything for you. I'll make your website. I'm your daughter. I'm not going to charge you what I would charge anyone else. I'm going to do it for free because you gave birth to me.
Well, Kristen, is it possible for me to adopt you?
I will do whatever I can to help you, Connie, because you inspire me, and I know you're going to inspire so many of our listeners. I appreciate you so much. And I just want, literally, please go buy Connie's book. I'm going to go buy it right now. And Connie, is there anything else? Is there a way to reach you? I know you're on LinkedIn, right?
Yes, I'm on LinkedIn and I'm on Facebook, and I have an Instagram account. It's called Connie_Grandmapreneur.
All right, and I did paste all of Connie's links in the chat. I will do so on the LinkedIn chat because I'm not allowed to comment on there the way that they have it right now. They don't like me using StreamYard, but StreamYard is so useful, so I'm going to keep using it.
It's great. So I have one thing.
Yeah.
It's a quote that I
Oh.
keep in my office, and it says, "What if I fall? Oh, but my darling, what if you fly?" That's by Erin Hansen. She's very young, and that just resonates with me. That means try. What if I fall? Oh, but my darling, what if you fly? And I would like to share that with everybody, young or old. Try things,
Try. Yes.
Try.
You don't know what you can do until you try, and you can always still learn new things.
So actually, nobody has to buy my book because I just told you everything.
No, you did not.
No,
Connie interviewed a ton of really fun people who have gone through the entrepreneur journey as retired individuals. So there's so much packed into it. Don't listen to her. Listen to me and go buy her book.
Thank you. Well, I also interviewed 10 second act entrepreneurs, people who started a business after they retired.
Right,
So,
and that's so valuable. I'm obsessed with stories. It's all over all my messaging, but we learn through story, and that's why I think that's so valuable, because you're showing them practical examples, but you're also using their brains to absorb the information in a way that they'll remember and that they can use.
Right. Well, you are wonderful, and I totally appreciate this.
Thank you, Connie, and thank you, listeners. I hope you all have the most amazing day. And remember what Connie said: passion has no expiration date. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Thank you so much.